Juanita. Welcome to the Dunedin Stories podcast. Well, actually, it's welcome both Juanita and Arnie to the Dunedin Stories podcast. Great to have you here today.
Kia ora, thank you so much for having me. We appreciate it.
And do you want to just let the audience know who you are and the organisation that you're representing today? Okay, so Juanita Willems. We're several pets in the community, but I am the coordinator for Foster Hope Otago Southland and also the coordinator for Blind Citizens Otago Network and a local representative for the disability
Leadership community as well. And a mum, and a wife.
And a dog mum.
And a dog mum.
You know, three pretty important roles in a city the size of ours, isn't it?
Yeah, it keeps me out of mischief. They're all volunteer roles, so, but I enjoy them. And they're all relevant to me as a person and, which is pretty important.
And serve a great deal of people here as well, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about Foster Hope and maybe the pathway that led you to leading that organisation?
Absolutely. So Foster Hope is an organisation that provides backpacks to children going into care. So the backpacks are filled with essential items, pyjamas, toothbrush, toothpaste, underwear, socks, those sorts of things. Traditionally what happens when a child goes into care, not always, but a lot of the time, the child is uplifted, say, from school, or basically they only have what they're wearing, the clothes on their back. And within that first couple of days, it's really important to the carers or the group homes or wherever they go that they have time to focus on that child's needs, emotional needs. And so we provide the things that means that child can have a bath, put on some clean new PJs and get up the next morning with some clean underwear and clothing, go to school. They have a backpack to go to school with. And so they can continue that normal routine. The foster carer isn't having to run around and collect all that stuff. They're not suddenly going, oh gosh, I've got a 10-year-old boy coming, I don't have any clothes for him. He will have the basics to cover him for those first couple of days. And so how I came about it was I was looking for something to do. In terms of volunteering, volunteering's always been something I've been passionate about, and I just Googled, charities supporting foster children. I'm a foster child myself. I was adopted when I was 7 in a state ward till I was 21, and so for me it was the natural Google search, came up with Foster Hope New Zealand, and the rest is kind of history really. There was nothing south of Christchurch, and I said, right, well, let's fix that. So this is our 13th year. It'll be our 14th Christmas that we've been running.
Wow.
And
Roughly how many youngsters do you think you've supported in that time, Juanita?
In total for the whole year, for the whole time, gosh, I think the first year it was pretty minimal. It was about 50. We thought that was amazing. Last year it was 1,863. So it's gone up by about 250 every year since COVID. In total, I couldn't actually.
No. We'd need to get a calculator.
I could have if I'd been more prepared and read your questions properly. But we're predicting around the 2,000 mark in the lower south this year, just based on previous year's figures.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's a few.
It's a great deal.
It's over 10,000.
Yeah,
for sure.
And how do you gather the support to fill these backpacks?
Yeah, great question. So we are 100% funded by the generosity of people in the community. So we're all volunteers, including my role, so there's no wages. And everything that comes in the door gets used on the packs. We get really, really good at, I send my poor husband down to go collect the rubbish so that, we don't have to pay for a rubbish bin. We bring it home, put it in ours. We spend our weekends running around recycling cardboard boxes and all sorts of things so that the costs are minimal. So we currently, as of last week, in the middle of our annual pyjama drive. So that runs through to the end of June, and people can donate new pyjamas. At Christmas time, we do a Christmas present drive. And then a few weeks ago, I had to put an email out or a Facebook post out saying, hey, we're out of shampoo, can anyone help? And so people have been really incredible. We've got lots of really loyal supporters. So we apply for some grants here and there, but mostly it's our own fundraising efforts and the generosity of the public, which is getting hard for people.
It is.
When times are tough, it's hard for charities, for sure.
I'm pretty sure Zonta Metropolitan Club, who
Yes.
I'm a part of.
Yes, Zonta have supported us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do a lot of talks to Zontas and Rotaries and Inner Wheels and Lions clubs. Yeah, so
I know we do a pajama run every year for
yeah.
you. So,
Awesome.
Look, connecting the dots, eh?
Yeah,
the different
fabulous.
organisations we're all involved in.
Yeah, awesome.
So aside from making sure that you've got the gear that you need to fulfil the need from the young persons, what other bumps in the road are you experiencing or challenges you're experiencing running a not-for-profit like that?
Costs are increasing, and that's, where a backpack used to cost us between sort of $30 and $40, now we're looking around the $100 mark, and so everything that we're needing to buy is getting dearer. And when times are tough for people, to donate a bottle of shampoo, which is anywhere from 8 to 12, or for a basic bottle of shampoo now, is getting really hard. So that is definitely a challenge. For us, we had to adapt it. Yeah. So obviously to make it more accessible for me, which meant moving it from our home where it had been for 12 years. It was no longer safe to keep operating out of home. So we now have rent for the first time. We're the only site in New Zealand that has rent. Right. It was that, or I didn't do it anymore. So that's a challenge. Every December we have to come up with the rent money, and we've had a very lovely business support the first year, but those types of challenges for us are huge because it takes away the focus. We will never use money that's donated for items. But again, you're asking people in a really tough economy to support us, and people are incredible, but it's a big ask, and I hate asking. That's the worst part about it. I hate asking people for help, to offer.
But people do want to help, and they don't know unless they know, do they?
No.
So you do need to
absolutely
to be able to be upfront about that.
Yeah.
We know this because we've had a little bit of a convo before now, but do you want to tell a little bit about your Dunedin story? You're born and bred Dunedin girl, and
born and bred Dunedin. Grew up in Waldronville. Currently live out in Moscow. As I say, a foster child, Queen's High School girl.
Do you think Dunedin is a special place to run the type of organisation you do? Does it have any benefits?
Obviously I haven't experienced it in other cities. I do know that we currently have the biggest number of packs going out the door we have for the last 3 or 4 years. Right. Which also means we need the most support. I'm always really humbled by people who will turn up on our doorstep at Christmas with a bootload of Christmas presents, or even one. One Christmas present's amazing as well. And then we often, through our chats, will find out they've either got a story related to why they're helping Foster Hope, or they really don't have a lot of money themselves, and here they are loading up a bootload of prezzies or PJs or whatever to support us. So I am really, really humbled. I am often heard saying, Dunedin people are awesome in terms of the support they give to a charity. It takes a bit of work to get it out there, and I'm very sort of on social media a lot and do a lot of these types of interviews because I think you can become irrelevant in terms of a charity. People forget about you. People don't forget about us because I don't let them. No. We need their help. So
to think, you have your own personal physical challenges in doing that. And there's people that, wouldn't even understand where to start from that perspective. Yeah,
absolutely. I've often had people say to me, gosh, how do you do it? How do you get up every day? I don't think we actually mentioned that I'm actually blind. So I just suddenly thought we're talking about it. People go, what's going on? But I had 2 choices. It was either keep going and learn how to do it differently, and it certainly hasn't been easy, or use my story and the reason why I do it to inspire others, to encourage others to get involved and to get the support. I don't share my story with people to get them to give us money, but it often puts it into context. A lot of people think the types of things that happened, to me or to other people, other foster children, only happens in the movies. And so when people hear a real story, they're like, okay, cool, this does still happen here in little old Dunedin, New Zealand. Yeah.
Was there any particular Dunedin organisations that supported you with your sight challenge that you've faced over the last few years? Anybody that needs a bit of a shout out?
Yeah, so absolutely. Blind Low Vision NZ, which used to be the Blind Foundation, they've been absolutely, fantastic. My journey with them has been incredible. Not so much a Dunedin one, but obviously Guide Dogs New Zealand. And then I'm now, as I say, the coordinator for Blind Citizens Otago Network. So our role is to provide advocacy and support to the blind community, so separate to what Blind Low Vision does. So yeah, they would be the main ones.
Shout out to those organisations.
Yeah, absolute shout out to them.
And you end up being the leader of one of them anyway. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure how that came about. Juanita, can you do this? Oh, yeah, all right.
I'll give it a crack.
I'll give it a crack.
Yeah.
It's but I do enjoy it. Yeah.
No, that's fantastic. It's so humbling to be across from you as well, because, the motivation to just run a business for me takes some energy and coordination and balancing of all the balls, and you make me check myself, Juanita. Thank you.
Oh, awesome, thank you. But I actually, when people say that, I think, while I appreciate it, it's one of those things that I'm just doing what I would do regardless. The fact that I don't have any vision now, to me, doesn't make any difference, but obviously I acknowledge that to others. That is something that's pretty special. But I'm just getting on with life as best I can, and but no, I appreciate your kind words anyway.
I think you're going to have a really interesting insight to the next bunch of questions.
Okay.
Because I think in some ways it's going to be about accessibility, because again, something we take for granted as able-bodied and fully sighted. So these questions are about Dunedin.
Okay, cool.
And one of them is about, you've got a friend visiting and you want them to experience Dunedin. Now, I know that you've lost your eyesight fully in the last 3 years, so you have some memories of great places.
Yeah.
So where would you have taken them, or where will you take them if they come and visit us? What's your most fond memory of a Dunedin location?
I think Larnach Castle.
Oh, wow.
It's one that I have only ever visited once, and I had sight.
Yeah.
And I don't think I really fully appreciated it. I know we were younger. I can't recall my age. But yeah, I sort of think now if I was to go there with friends, I wouldn't enjoy it at all because it's very visual. So, but I think it's great for other people. It's a huge part of Dunedin's history, and so that would probably be my pick. I think. Yeah,
nice. Probably a few too many stairs these days, I think, for you. Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. What about you heading out for lunch? You're going to take this friend out somewhere to have a bite to eat for lunch. What's your favourite go-to that's accessible and...
So that's the interesting point, the accessibility. I'm going to go somewhere and that isn't going to argue with me over having a service dog. While it's illegal to turn away a service dog from a restaurant, you'd be surprised how often it happens. And you just don't want to have that fight.
No.
It's like, we just don't want to tell you what the fines are and that you're in the wrong. I'm a bit of a funny one because I spend a lot of time out Mosgiel. It's easy. So for me, it would probably be Walls, out at Walls Plantland.
Topiary?
Topiary Cafe, thank you. Yeah. We just think of it as Walls. But so good opportunity to go for a bit of a shop, have a feel, quite like plants. Plants very tactile. So I enjoy that. So that would be my take. And they're always happy to read a menu out if need be, or
lovely, and
help. So I find them quite good.
That's really good to know.
Yeah.
What about events? Like, there's a whole bunch of different events that go on in Dunedin, but what's one that's easily accessible for you that you're able to go to and enjoy?
Oh gosh, not a big get out and about girl. I did attend the Pink concert recently, which was a huge challenge. Yeah. As a visually or as a blind person. Yeah. Events. So anything that's, the Anzac Day Parade. I didn't go this year because we were out of town, but I have heard that they're making significant steps in making sure that that's accessible. The Anzac, the dawn service. I can't really. I'm a bit of a homebody. I'm too busy with other things. I don't do a huge amount out in the city.
have you been able to experience the newly accessible George Street yet?
Not yet.
Not
I
yet.
am scheduled to do a walkthrough with the people that have built it in the next couple of weeks.
Good.
So we were sort of consulted to some degree
Yeah.
around certain parts of tiling and that sort of stuff. So certainly haven't been able to go into town on my own while that was going on.
And you would have been one of the advocates that put submissions through to the council.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
Thank you and well done on behalf of the whole community.
Hopefully, I've heard good things, so I'm really looking forward to.
It really is beautiful. They've done
Yeah.
a lovely job. And there was a street party in the weekend that I hear was well attended. So
Yes.
and playground for kids, and bring people back into town and have
Fabulous.
a bit
That's
of
absolutely
connection.
what we need to do. Yeah, for sure. Yep.
I warned you about this question because it's a bit tricky, but I think you might have an answer. If you were to be afforded the opportunity to have a Ocho hot chocolate or a Spates with a Dunedin legend or somebody that's made a difference to you, who would it be and why?
So I don't know that I'm allowed to use her name, but she will know who she is.
Yeah.
I would definitely love to catch up and have a coffee with my social worker from what would have been Department of Social Welfare back in the 70s, which is now known as Oranga Tamariki. So she was, a huge part of the shape that my life's taken now. So that would be who it would be for me.
Pivotal person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Made sure that you're the person before us today.
Yeah, for sure.
We've got a wee snapshot called the Sweet 16. And, some of these questions, they will be difficult to answer, although they'll be pulling back on memories for you, I think, as well.
Okay.
So, would you have preferred, or do you prefer today, a beach, a bush, or a spa day, Juanita?
Now? You're talking about now?
Let's go now.
Probably a spa day now.
Yeah.
You'd asked me 20 years ago, it probably would have been different, but yeah.
Would it have been the beach or the bush 20 years ago?
Probably the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, back in the days, 20 years ago, we would have been able to sunbathe on St. Clair Beach.
With our coconut oil on our
And our
lips.
coconut oil, yeah.
Gosh,
or my mum gave me
burning.
baby oil. But what about Cyndi Lauper or Madonna?
Oh, that's a really hard one.
I know, because we're
Both
the same
incredibly
genre.
iconic. Yeah. Probably Cyndi Lauper, only because I think everybody else would say Madonna.
Cindy's
But both awesome
Cindy's
people.
just a bit more edgy, isn't
Yeah,
she?
yeah. Maybe a bit more me, bit more, yeah.
Country music or classical, Juanita?
Country for sure. Grew up country music. Yep.
Brilliant. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Easy answer.
Easy. Yeah.
Are you a morning person or a night owl?
That's an interesting one. I think I'm probably more of a night owl now. I suffer from a blindness-related sleep condition, so I do spend a lot of time awake all night. Probably more of a night owl now.
Yeah.
Definitely used to be a morning person. Mornings are a bit more challenging now.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow, especially at this time of the year as well.
Yeah, and it's cold and heinous out there, yeah.
So I know you have readers and things like that, and you probably enjoy reading a book or two. Fiction or non-fiction?
I'm going to say non-fiction.
Yeah?
But I'm partial to a bit of everything. There's not much I won't read. I was a huge reader, visual reader before I lost my sight. So I'm just starting to enjoy audiobooks now.
I love a good audiobook.
Yeah, just starting to get the hang of it. Wasn't keen on it at all because I wanted a book, but I had to adapt. So just starting to just read. Actually, just finished Prince Harry. Spear. Yeah. The problem is his voice is very relaxing. And if you can't sleep, it's a good chance to get you off to sleep. So I think I've missed quite a bit of it.
I so understand. I do not recommend you listen to Matthew McConaughey. He's got a beautiful voice, but it too will put you to sleep.
Yes, I can imagine it would actually. Yep.
Juanita, are you a hugger or a head nodder?
Probably a hugger. Yeah, but pre-warned hugger.
Yes.
As a blind person, the worst thing,
Don't
the thing I hate
myself at you.
people do it all the time. I'm just like, you don't want to be crashing noses or heads or shoulders,
Do you prefer chocolate or vanilla?
Vanilla. Yep.
Summer or winter?
Winter.
Yeah, you like the cold.
I'm not a fan of the heat. I always say there's a limit to what they let you take off in public, but you can add more layers if you're cold. So yeah, I prefer winter.
Say the same.
I enjoy a bit of sun, but I quite like actually, if you didn't give me autumn and spring, I probably would have said autumn's my favourite, but if I had to choose between winter and summer, it would be winter.
Sweet or savoury tooth?
Probably savoury, more savoury, yep.
We had sausage rolls today, they were delicious.
Nice.
Planner or spontaneous?
Oh, absolutely a planner, and anyone who hears this will go, yep, we could answer that before I spoke. Yep.
Right, well, we've just nailed why you're the head of all these organisations.
But yet didn't come prepared with the questions.
That's fine.
Completely missed that memo.
Do you have memories of your preference for sunrise or sunset?
I like a decent shepherd's morning, so a decent sunrise with the red, and apparently there was one a couple of days ago, so my husband was able to tell me about that. But a nice red sky, even though it means you're going to be in for an evening or afternoon of rain. What is it? I can't even remember the saying. Shepherd's delight. Red sky at night, shepherd's delight. Red sky in the morning, shepherd's warning.
That's the one. That was a mummism, wasn't it?
That was a mummism.
Comedy or horror, Juanita?
Oh, definitely comedy. Can't do horror. Not my thing. No, just never been into it. Just don't see the point.
Do you have a favourite comedian or a comedy film that you enjoyed? Or an actress, it says all.
See, it's interesting because if you ask me who my favourite actor is, I'm a huge Bruce Willis fan. So back in his younger days, but he's obviously not. Well, he can be a comedian. He can be quite funny. Not really a favourite comedy movie. Just a bit of anything. Light-hearted, bit of fun, and they're often easier to listen to as well. So if you take away your vision and have to listen to a horror movie, it's just not good. But if if something's funny and it's got a storyline, is good. So,
the old jump scares probably aren't going to have the same impact on you, are they?
No.
Yeah. Well, Juanita, what's cooking in the rest of 2024 for you? What are you planning? 6 or 7 months?
Yeah, the next 6 or 7 months, we will definitely ramp up. History tells us that Foster Hope will definitely get busier. We've got a bit of accessibility stuff coming up, bus driver training, different scooter, the new electric scooters. There was some training opportunity there where we could hear the different noises that they're going to make, that sort of thing. And in terms of Foster Hope, obviously we've got our PJ drive now, and then we'll, about September, start planning Christmas, which sounds crazy.
Yes, that's really interesting you mention that, because I drive an EV and I had never considered that you can't hear it, but you can't see it.
And he struggles. The guide dogs pre-2020, a lot of them had never been around an electric vehicle. And so there's no electric buses. So we met with Richie's and the ORC when the electric buses came out, and our members were given an opportunity to get on and off the bus, to hear the different noises, to hear the sound the bus makes. It was really good for the dogs to have that opportunity too. Because look, I had a friend drop me off in her EV the other day, and I stood there for 5 minutes after she'd left waiting for her to go.
Wow.
She'd already gone. My neighbour said it was quite entertaining.
No, that again, something we don't think about.
So if they do have alarms, they might be a pain to everybody else.
It was a terrible noise. Sorry.
That's all right. Yeah, so if they do have alarms, and because a lot of them can be deactivated, we get that they're frustrating for you guys, but honestly it makes a huge difference to people who are blind or have low vision.
100%. And that might feed into our kind of last question, but Juanita, if you had the power to change something to improve your life or those of the people that you have around you, what would that be?
So it's probably a 2-part question because I've been thinking about that. The first part is obviously in terms of Foster Hope. In an ideal world, we wouldn't need to exist. And what I mean by that is that children and families would be so well supported that children didn't need to go into foster care, therefore didn't need our services. So that would be my first one. And then the other end of it for me would be around accessible streets and the ability to educate the public that parking on a footpath or, you know, pulling into your driveway and just covering the footpath with your car, you know, we get it's easy for you guys, but it's a huge challenge for the blind and low vision community, and probably the one that bugs me the most because it's so unnecessary. So yeah, I would love to be able to do a massive campaign to explain to people and show them what it does. You know, we've got guide dogs who are trained not to walk on the road.
Yeah, 100%.
And
So
they will cross the road.
Yes.
But, you know, we had a truck last week that was parked right on the footpath.
Yes.
You know, there was nowhere for me to go except on the road, and he's refusing because that's what he's supposed to do. To say it's not safe to go out there, Mum.
Good dog,
So,
Arnie,
yeah, he does a great job. But, yeah, and then for cane users, it's the same. You know, they have to then navigate their way around it. And wheelchair users too, in terms of accessibility.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so those would be my two things, I think.
Well, let's talk afterwards about how we can support you in a campaign around that, because I understand and think that that's a really important thing to do. Yeah.
That'd be cool. Thank
Juanita,
you.
is there anything else you can share with the audience? Perhaps it's how can they find you to support Foster Hope in particular?
Absolutely. So we're primarily social media based. So on Facebook, Foster Hope Otago Southland. Any messages that are sent through that page come directly to me. Yes, I can read them. I have really good screen readers.
Yes.
Just so people go, how's that going to work?
Yes.
You can look up our website, so fosterhope.org.nz, and click on Otago, and it will tell you what we're up to. And if anyone wants to volunteer or support us, donate, if they send an email or a phone call, so the email's just otago@fosterhope.org.nz. That's the best way to get the information. All of my contact details are on the Facebook page and on the website. And volunteering can be as little as half an hour once every 6 weeks. It's not regular. It's what we need when we need it. So yeah, people can email me and say, hey, I'd like to be a volunteer, and they'll get a heads up when something cool's happening, and they can choose if they'd like to do it or not.
Thank you so much, Juanita.
Awesome.
Do you know what, as well, for me, this is like, I've had a lot of people say, oh no, it's going to be really tricky to come in, or no, I don't know what to talk about, and I haven't done a podcast before. All those barriers. Thank you for coming, Juanita, and joining us and showing us that if you can do it, anybody can.
Fabulous.
100%.
Thanks for having me. It's been fun.
Thanks, Arnie.